Welcome back, guys. It's never too late to have a teachable moment. And sometimes our teachable moments are in observing our parents. My mother had a relationship with us that was she really was always trying to teach. And her life was the biggest teacher. She moved away from 5 hours away, I remember, and I could not understand why she was leaving at one point. And there were certain things that were happening at the time that really clarified why. I remember she had a girlfriend years ago, and as children, you had to leave the room. You weren't really supposed to be in the environment of adults, because sometimes things are said and certain things are done. But I remember this one girlfriend, every time she came around, she would drop gems. And I often wondered if my mother was getting everything that she was saying, because some things she said were very clear, to me anyway. But sometimes when you're involved in the situation, it's harder for you to see it. When you're directly involved, when the people on the outside sometimes can see things more clearly, they see, what your experience is and what have you. And she was saying, I think that the people you're in your relationship get intimidated when your ex is always coming around. And she said, that's the father of my children. I think you need to watch your step on what you're saying. And she said, no, I don't mean it disrespectfully, but, any fool can see that you guys still love each other. She said, yes, I will always love the father of my children. And I will always know that there are certain parameters, that we are sharing. She was like, oh no, I get it. But, there's a reason why people feel intimidated. That's all I'm saying, and, he seems to be stopping by. He stopped by a lot. And she said, yeah, I do realize that too. But again, don't step on toes that don't belong to you. And the girlfriend was like, all right, I'm backing off. And then later on, my father showed up. My father figure showed up. And she said, sir, when you come to see the children, that's fine. Those are the children, and that's between you guys. But under no uncertain terms are you supposed to be having these conversations with me. And I know that part of it was he missed her advice. My mother would give great advice, and she'd tell him, to be mindful of certain things. But there were times where it was just like, no, leave the door open. No, it's time for you to leave, or what have you. And I noticed, like I said, towards the end, when we were already grown, and he was still trying to have conversations, my mother was very clear in saying, okay, that's it. So when she moved away, 5 hours away, I could not understand it. But I understood a lot more, when she moved away. And then when she came to see me, after, I had a bad dream, and I shared it with her, and she realized that what was going on. And she came to visit me, and she stayed with me for a month. My mother was very clear, and she wanted to be very honest in certain areas. And I realized that certain things she felt she could not say, because she never wanted anyone to be turned against. Like one thing, she would not turn you against the opposite person. And it was because she knew that you really loved the person, or, she didn't disrespect anybody. She definitely made sure that she stayed she kept, I'll say healthy separation, okay? She kept that going, okay? But again, when you're observing your parents, sometimes you make the same mistakes, That girlfriend, when she made that last statement, it crossed my mother's mind, and a lot of things crossed her mind, I'm sure. But she was very clear. She knew that my father figure was a warlock. And she knew that there were certain things that she needed to make sure that she was very clear in separating, When your ex is continuously coming and bothering you, or calling, or his energy is nesting, then it kind of breaks up what you have going on in your life. You're trying to move forward, and that person is still trying to come and cloud that energy. It's important that we make clear boundaries, and we say, no, thank you. You know, if a person has done anything against me and I feel that it is unhealthy, I have to set those parameters. I have to say no thank you. And I'm saying no thank you to anyone who is trying to come into my energy without my permission. I'm saying no thank you to those individuals who wronged me in the past and who are trying to move forward and speak and communicate now. I'm saying no thank you to the individuals who have paid individuals to come in and nest in my energy and find out my personal business. No thank you. And I have to be very clear on this one because it seems as though a lot is going on. And I shared someone in common with a person in my past. And she came and had a conversation recently, and I had to say no thank you to her for bringing that name up. And I had to say no thank you that I don't want to feel compelled to moving forward in this relationship because this is no longer a friendship. When you can continuously try to bring back and forth drama as well as rumors, I don't want to be a part of people's lives that I have separated from when they are very unhealthy. You have to just keep swimming sometimes and move forward and leave the past where it is. Now, there are certain people in my past that I love dearly and I will never forget them. And those are the people who I have continued conversation. My godmother, I love you dearly, and I will always love you. And I would love to continue communicating because she's a healthy person. She knows boundaries. She would never do the things that my so-called family has done. And any exes, anyone from my past, I say thank you for the experience and I move forward. I do not move backwards. You know, those individuals who I've kept communication with, that's fine. They know who they are. But the others, no thank you. No thank you to any South Carolina experience, okay? So, again, I'm making this very clear because apparently someone is trying to step forward and I am saying no thank you. I do not want any involvement whatsoever. Whatever God has in line with you and whatever God is doing for you, I wish you well. But I move forward in a healthy lifestyle, okay? In a healthy lifestyle, moving forward, keeping the people around me who are loving and supportive. And I have to say that in moving forward, I am being very clear in stating that I am not interested in anything unhealthy because it seems as though the same cycle repeats itself, especially to children who their parents have spoken around them. Some things don't need to be shared in front of children. Their childhood gets stripped away and too much information and too many experiences occur. You know, when I look back and I say, how many times did I say to my father that it was that I didn't feel safe and comfortable with his brother picking us up, and he still had him pick us up and abuse us, both myself and my brother. You know, it's important that you set necessary parameters and you tell the people in your life that they are being unhealthy or they're not making the right choices, and you don't allow your children in their presence. I constantly bring this up on this channel because it's important that you realize that whether your children are talking to you or not about the situation, you look at the examples, you look at their body language, you look at the fear in their eyes when that person is present. I don't believe that sometimes people do not listen. And he was not listening. And we were abused. My brother, he choked him. He did so many different things, you know, growing up. And when you have an uncle, that's your youngest brother, making these choices and setting obstacles and making your children feel unsafe, it is important that you realize that it is important that you say no thank you. You have, instead of having him pick your children up so that you can go and masquerade and do whatever it is that you chose to do. Okay, I understand that you guys were no longer together, my mother figure and you. But for you to continue to have an unhealthy experiences and allow this man to come in and sacrifice us. That is totally uncalled for. You know, Uncle Herman was really very rude, very obnoxious, and very abusive. And I have to say, because now I'm an adult, and now I can speak up on my own behalf, and I'm setting this example so that people will understand that it is not okay when you allow things to continue to happen and you sweep them under the rug. You know, maybe Jamal was telling the truth when he said family members always go back, and that's the problem. Maybe I'm not a family member. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not going back, because I'm not going to continue to repeat the same vicious cycles. I'm moving forward healthfully, making the right choices that are working better for me. And when I say that I am happy, I am happily moving forward, because it's a shame that this is still coming up. And the person wasn't really, she was supposed to be a family member who came and spoke to me in regards to all this stuff that's going on, even behind my back. I do not welcome this type of energy, and that's why I had to say no thank you to her, and I say no thank you and moving forward to a healthier lifestyle. And the copycats and people getting plastic surgery to copycat, that is your own bag of energy that you choose to carry. That's all you. Nobody asked you to do that. Nobody is trying to move forward to unhealthy. So I say, just like the woman turned back, she looked back and turned into a pillar of salt, I say no thank you. I move forward and I cleanse that energy, and I cut off anything that's unnecessarily trying to hurt or harm in my life. I thank God for the experiences because they've made me stronger. And I thank God for helping me to see better so that I can move better and I can know better. So here at Indigo Moon, we are living a healthier lifestyle, moving forward and leaving the past where it is.